Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another Hollywood Memories. I'm Dan Roberts, the publisher of the Vegas Voice magazine, and I have the great pleasure of introducing and co-hosting with my favorite columnist, and that is Beverly Washburn. Beverly, as always, thank you for putting up with me.
Thank you, Dan. It's always fun to do these with you.
Yeah, we're going to find out after this one. You know, the interesting thing, Beverly, is that we've talked about the fact that you've done movies, you've done various TV shows. You've really had a fantastic career. I want to zero in on one TV show because everybody who is watching this will absolutely recognize it, remember it, and that is the Patty Duke Show.
Yeah.
And looking over my notes, you did a TV show with Patty Duke on September 18, 1963, which is a bunch of years ago.
Yeah, what?
I guess let's just start with, tell me about Patty Duke.
Well, I know here we go again, because every time I say somebody's my favorite or they're wonderful, you always tease me about. But honestly, I have to say, she was truly one of the sweetest, nicest people that I ever worked with. I absolutely adored her. She was so down to earth and just made me feel so welcome. It was her own TV show called The Patty Duke Show. For those of you who watched it, you'll remember that she played two roles. And when I got the part for it, I had to go in and meet the casting person and read for the role. And I was really hoping to get the part because I was a big fan of hers. And I didn't know what she would be like in person. You know, you never know. And on the first day on the set, I was by the wardrobe trailer and she came walking up to me and she said, "Hi, I'm Patty. Welcome to the show," which was so sweet to begin with. I mean, like, obviously I knew who she was, but she said, "I'm Patty," like I didn't know. It was so cute.
And you said, "Go away."
No, I was in awe of her. I was just, you know, she was an Oscar winner and she was a brilliant actress. So she said, "What's going on?" And I said, "I'm actually waiting for them to find something for me to wear." And we were outside of the wardrobe trailer. So she looked at me, and I think we have a photo you can see. We're
and we'll be playing
standing next to each other. And we're both exactly the same height, like 5 foot nothing.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, "We're about the same size. Come on in." And so she went into the wardrobe trailer with me. And she said, "Beverly and I are like the same size. Hell, give her something of mine to wear." And I was just so taken aback by that, because there's not a lot of actors that would want you to wear something of theirs or be willing to share that. But that's who she was. She was just sweet and down to earth. And so we had a cute scene, and she was just darling and died way too soon.
Yeah, unfortunately. And again, as you mentioned, when it was the Patty Duke Show itself, she had already won an Oscar. I mean, we're talking like top of the line.
Oh, she was a brilliant actress, but just so kind and just easygoing. And the crew loved her, the cast loved her, and she was so warm and welcoming to me. And I never forgot that. And I did happen to run into her a couple years later.
Yeah.
It was I don't even remember. I was with Trini Lopez. Do you remember him?
Sure.
He was my date.
Yeah.
And that was back in the days when they would set you up with, you know, guys that weren't really your boyfriend.
And
they would.
So that didn't last very long. Either,
No. It was just a publicity thing. And I don't even remember the reason, but it was some function. And I was there with Trini Lopez, and she was there with her then husband at the time. And we were both on the dance floor dancing. We looked at each other, and, you know, I just went up to her and we hugged, and she was just so darling. I just, you know, with all my memories that I look back over my career, I have to say for real that working with her was one of my fondest and favorite memories.
Let's talk about the TV segment itself. You remember what it was about? And
I'm
rolling it.
Well, I'm only in the beginning scene, and we played girlfriends. You know, we were friends of each other in school, and there's a scene where we see this poster, and we talk about being an exchange student. And well, I don't know. Do you have a clip? Or
I don't know if we're going to find a clip, but
okay.
It was something along those lines that you tried to talk her about leaving the family in a way.
Well, yeah, because I say, you know, she said, "Oh, they'd never let me go. They'd miss me or something." And I make this silly sentence about, well, my uncle or father or something, I can't remember, always said after 3 days, fish and company start to smell
Yeah.
or something to that effect. It was not very nice. But anyway, but it was a comedy, so.
Do you think a comedy like Patty Duke show can run now? I mean, with the change of the world from
I
1963.
know. I don't think those shows, all the ones back in the day with the Leave It to Beaver and the Donna Reed show and, the Patty Duke show and all those, fortunately, they still play on all the nostalgic TV shows like Me TV and Antenna and all that. So for older people that remember them, I think they get a kick out of watching the older ones. But with the new generation, I don't know that it would really fly, that they would enjoy this because it was so simple and
different world.
Yeah, different world. Yeah.
And when you did the TV, again, you've done movies prior to that. What's the difference between doing a movie and doing a TV show?
Well, it has a lot to do with the length of the time you're working, because on a movie, typically, like when I did Old Yeller and Shane and Here Comes the Groom and those films, I worked for 3 months. So you actually become like a family because you were the same people every day for 3 months, the same crew, same cast, and you get to know each other better. And then with the TV show, oftentimes you're just there one day or maybe 3 days, depending on how big a part you have.
Right.
So you get to meet everybody and work with them, but there's never really time to build a rapport because sometimes you're only there for 1 day and you have to. And as a child, which is when I did most of my work, I had to have 3 hours of schooling each day too. So there was never really a lot of time to meet. And but by the time I did the Patty Duke show, I think we were both in our 20s. Yep. And so we didn't have to do school, but she was great to work with. And then we would, have lunch together. I think I worked on it 2 days, even though I was just in the one scene.
And you know what? The thing that I'm waiting for is that when you went to see her wardrobe and she said, go ahead and take something, she'll let you keep it, right?
No,
they couldn't keep it.
Well, it didn't even belong to her, but it was, they buy wardrobe for her or they get it from Western Costume, which is a huge place that supplied a lot of wardrobe for various shows, but they would have her size and everything. And so they would have tons of wardrobe for her to pick from each time. And they were trying to find me something, but not of hers until she came in and said, better have something of mine. And I was just so honored to wear one of her outfits.
Yeah, it's just class. Huh?
Yeah.
And
very sweet.
It's amazing how the world has changed over these years, but you still have, and you met some wonderful, wonderful people.
I did.
Okay. So when we get off camera, you're not going to say, let me tell you about the real Patty Duke, are you?
You're so funny, Dan.
No.
I can't say anything but just wonderful things about her. She was really one of my most favorite people that I ever worked with.
And unfortunately, never worked with her again. It was just that one-time shot.
Yeah,
just amazing. Okay, so in the minute or so that we have left, what do you think, and what would you like the listeners to know about Patty Duke? I mean, forgetting about her troubles, and that's a whole different story about her son, and that's another story, and how she died so early. What do you want people to know about the real Patty Duke, the one that you met, the one that you worked with?
Just that she was just the sweetest, kindest, just most down to earth. There was nothing phony about her. There was nothing. She didn't act stuck up or like she was better than anybody else. She was just
But as a star, was she concerned that you might have too many lines, or you might be in too many scenes, or you might cut her off or something along those lines?
No. I mean, it was her show. It was all about her. And she was, confident enough. She wouldn't be afraid of anything like that. And she was too sweet anyway. She would never be jealous of another person getting too much dialogue or anything.
Even though it's her show and she says, hey, you're doing a very good job. No, and I'm looking at, again, she was an Oscar winner. Okay, so but you were in your Old Yeller. You knew how to do movies. You knew how to do all that stuff. So there was never any rivalry between the two.
No, absolutely none whatsoever. She was just warm and welcoming, and we hugged goodbye on the last day. And
you gave back the clothes, though.
Had to.
You had to give back the clothes, though. So anyway, this is Dan Roberts, Beverly. Again, thank you for putting up with me. We're going to be doing more TV shows in the future. We have a bunch of plans going forward. And unless Beverly throws me out of this chair, I'll be back. So this is Dan Roberts with Beverly, and we will see you again for Hollywood Memories.
Thank you.
And thank you for putting up with me.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks, everybody.